Well, hello there. How are you doing today? I hope everything is fine and dandy in your world. And it's time again to take another wander down the strange street called the strange realm we find ourselves in. So, guys, this is obviously for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything in the videos. This is an autodidactic zone. So, come to your own conclusions.
They are not trying to perfect AI. Their AI videos have been perfected a long time ago. They are not attempting to see if they can fool the public. This is not the reasoning behind why they're showing us videos that are so obviously AI. People keep saying that they're showing us these obvious AI clips of Netanyahu or Jim Carrey or whoever the hell because they're using us to point out the flaws so that they can perfect it. This is not why they're doing this. It's not because they want us to think that AI is still detectable. It's not going to be that simple. They have the ability to create videos that do not look AI. There are average people who have been video editors since the 90s and now create videos that can create better videos than what they're showing us. They are deliberately showing us AI videos that are clearly AI with the intentions of us believing that they are AI. Why are they doing this? Why do they want us to know that these videos are fake? And yes, I know that there's still some people out there that aren't going to pick up on the AI and they are going to think it's real. But that doesn't matter because why would they even be doing that if they have the ability to create a more believable video? We do not have access to the same type of technology as the ones who are creating this stuff. They're intentionally making mistakes to confuse us.
Yes, well, AI, it's getting crazy out there, but I would agree. It's my perspective that AI has been around a lot longer than we've had access to it, and they have much more advanced versions than we have access to, right? So I definitely agree there, but let me know your thoughts on it. And why are they doing this? I put up the video of Netanyahu with six fingers, obviously AI, very easy to spot. So what's the plan here? What are they going after? It's interesting that we've had the E-files, the Epstein files released, and so there's all these photos and apparently videos that are part of that. So if they release AI and things become very obviously AI, they can skew things, right? They can skew what the videos that we see are, and they can make little changes to them and say, look, that's clearly AI, it's not real, this is all just generated. And that's one thought I've got, is to exonerate themselves from all the stuff that they've videotaped, if they have videotaped it. Because I can understand definitely the blackmail aspect, getting stuff on tape that you can then use to blackmail someone. But as far as them just partying, if that's what we want to call it, and doing whatever they do and recording that, why would they incriminate themselves? So, this is the thing, even with the war that's going on, if it's going on or whatever's going on there, a lot of AI has already come out already. Again, it just skews our point of view and makes us question everything. We don't know what's true and what's real anymore, which gives them more opportunity to skew the narrative. That's my take on it at the moment anyway, but please let me know your thoughts. What is all this AI stuff? Why, when they've clearly got better AI and they don't need to put these mistakes in them, why are they putting out these videos? Let me know your thoughts.
We are officially at the dawn of a new age where you will not know what's real or what's fake. They'll say the fake things are real and the real things are fake. I warned of this moment coming 3 years ago. First off, it's really weird that so many socials are glitching right now, especially to post and to put videos up. Wonder why that is. A lot of controversy over the video that just got released, allegedly by BB himself, and also photos. Let's dive into this, whether it's real or not. And then after, the implications of this. So you may notice at the bottom I have that it's AI, and that's because us creators, we will get in trouble if we don't label things AI if they're AI. And about this video that BB himself posted, every single artificial intelligence thing is all claiming that it's artificial. Even Grok and a whole bunch of other AI chats are all saying that the video is artificial. I wonder why that would be. Also, the coffee shop that he is at right here is closed because the conflict going on with Iran. Shut up. Much like the last video, I showed you guys that a whole bunch of different detectors all said it was AI. They had a security defense meeting, and he's always at these, and he was not there. Now, his son has also not tweeted on Twitter in like 6 days now, and he usually tweets like 100 times a day. Now, of course, we have the coffee not spilling, when he's drinking it. We have his head looking massively different than, his head last time we saw him. He also has a new technological auto flapper pocket, which captures and releases his hand. I think that's just pretty cool. I'm not saying that they took him out, but tell me, what's up with all the AI footage? By the way, keep tab of all the talking head accounts on Twitter that keep claiming that this is our proof of life. The coffee shop on Instagram only posted the pictures and not the video because they're being torn apart. Also, they took down their Twitter account. Me personally, I believe that these photos were actually from a few years ago because everyone's wearing masks back like it was, in 2020. And now, of course, after sending 5,000 troops, now the president is calling on a bunch of other countries to join this conflict, which he said we already won. The ninth time. We've won this 9 times already in the last few days. Why the AI slop? AI has been around for like a long time, but it hit, consumers recently. And I had a feeling it was not for us. Also, the journalist that was able to spot his location when his, compound was hit, they arrested that guy. Something is up, and it's going to get a whole lot weirder. Let me know what you guys think below. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake?
Yeah, do you think it's real or do you think it's fake? It's interesting that he held his hands up, right? And look, I've got 5 fingers, unlike the other clearly AI video that went out with 6 fingers. But again, that video there looked like it was probably AI as well. And so what is the plan here? It seems to be confusion. So no one really knows what to trust. No one knows what's real or not anymore. So I guess we need to be vigilant. And my perspective is, we need to understand who these people are, what they've always done, because that's what they're going to continue to do. And what we do know is that they lie and they deceive and they steal and they want power over us and they want to steal all the world's resources. This is what they've always done. This is what the war is about, in my opinion. But, it's very interesting. He mentioned 2020 with all the masks. Remember that? And, we had like the Joe Biden, you could see the mask coming off around his head and, lots of other videos. There was even that lady, I can't remember her name, the Spanish lady from, what was that sitcom? Modern Family, I think. And she walked out as, again, I don't know, Emma Watson from Harry Potter. And then she pulled off the mask and it was her. All of these videos could have been AI generators to get us thinking a certain thing, mainly what is real, right? And the whole narrative of, that we're all going down at the moment, right? There's something going on. Are they clones? Are they vampires? What are they? Are they fallen angels, or possessed entities from another realm, shall we say? We just don't know. And this is where they've got us at the moment, that we really don't know what is real and what is not. But again, let me know, what do you think about all this AI stuff?
Mate, 5 things about Australia that most people do not realise. And this fifth one is going to blow your mind. Number 1, Australia is the largest exporter of iron ore on Earth. Around 56% of the total global supply comes from our country. The steel that builds cities across the world starts in our dirt, our red dirt at home. Number 2, Australia produces almost half of the world's lithium. Those batteries powering this electric revolution that we're living through. The phones in your pocket, in my hand, the cars poor. Entire countries keep their lights on because of the shit that we dig out of the ground here. Our energy, our coal. Number 4, Australia feeds a huge portion of the world. Wheat, barley, beef, grain, all of it From Asia to the Middle East, millions of people rely on food grown here in Australia. Number 5, this one's the fucking kicker. Despite all of that, Australia is one of the most fragile countries on the planet. We have only days, sometimes weeks of fuel reserves in supply. Our supply chains are stretched across half the planet. One little war in the Middle East, one major shipping disruption, and all the trucks across the country can stop within a couple of weeks. All of it. And this whole country relies on diesel. Everything that we've spoken about relies on diesel. You think about that. A country that feeds half the world, a country that powers the world. Why is that?
Yes, well, there's one thing I disagree with what he said, and that's that we, the Australians, did this. We didn't do this. You know, how do you know when your country is run by a corporation of lying, thieving, deceiving people? Well, you look around and see that they are giving away all the wealth of the country. Like most of our gas exports, definitely, other countries come in and they take it all out and they don't pay tax or anything on it. They just take it and they take it overseas and they sell it. They sell it to us. And the same with our coal and our iron, all the manufacturing in Australia. We used to have car industries. We used to have a lot of industries that would turn the iron ore into metals and steel and then into products, all being destroyed by the government. Right? It's so expensive to start any kind of business in Australia now. And my opinion is that's all by design. Right? They are literally just stealing, the Commonwealth, because we're supposed to be the Commonwealth of Australia, but the Commonwealth is being shipped off overseas. And Australia is now one of the most expensive countries to live in and to buy houses in. And this is, again, all by design, right? Because we have all the resources we need. We're just not allowed to use them. We're not giving access to them. And diesel. Australia runs on diesel. Australia, most of our goods and services, they're shipped around on trucks, road trains, right, that run on diesel, because Australia's a big land, right? But there's no, it's much faster to go on a truck across the land than to go around the outside, I guess. But yeah, once the diesel stops, everything stops, right? Food, products, everything. So it's crazy because diesel was invented by a guy who basically wanted it to be a free fuel for farmers and primary producers. And you can literally make diesel out of, the original diesel, right, out of the waste from your crops, out of the stalks and things like this. This is why it was originally created. And then, of course, the powers that want to be didn't want this going out. They didn't want people to have control over their own fuel. Of course they didn't want that, right? Because then we wouldn't buy it off them. So they actually changed the seals inside diesel engines to a kind of rubber that would deplete with their, if you put like normal diesel or ethanol on the engine, it would kill it, right? So they created their fake synthetic diesel, which is what we all use now. And I remember a few years ago, probably 10 years ago, there's a big biodiesel thing, right? And they really pushed diesel. And this is when we started getting much more diesel cars. And, everyone thought it was good, thought it was green. It started off cheaper. Then it kind of disappeared. But they got a lot of people onto diesel. And look where we are now. We're, again, much more controllable. It's crazy. But as always, let me know your thoughts on this video.
What if I told you there was a civilization before the Ice Age 12,000 years ago? That was the real advanced one. Not us. Not modern humans with our smartphones and rockets. No. They understood things we can't even grasp today. Energy, consciousness, the very structure of the cosmos itself. They followed a law, an ancient rule, one that ties everything together, the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. And they knew it so well that they built entire monuments aligned with the stars. The Great Pyramids of Giza lined up perfectly with Orion's belt, but it doesn't stop there. Go to Teotihuacan in Mexico. Same thing. The Temple of the Sun, the Temple of the Moon, the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, all matching Orion's belt, just like in Egypt. Different continents, same blueprint. But even that isn't the real revelation. The real shift in history is this. What if that civilization wasn't the first? What if we're not just talking about one lost civilization, but multiple? Entire cycles of human history, rising and falling, erased, forgotten, buried under time? What if we can connect the entire narrative? Because once you see it, history isn't just old. It's far, far older than we've been led to believe.
Yep, history is his story. And of course, that was a bit more of the alternative mainstream theory, right? The Younger Dryas, the Ice Age of 11, 12,000 years ago, which I don't buy into. I don't believe that. I believe that the Ice Age was much, much closer. And, you know, the changes in the land and the oceans and everything was much more recent, as was this advanced civilization. You know, they love to push everything back into the past, right? They've completely messed up our timelines, you know, everything to do with time, which kind of means that they're controlling it if we believe that part of the narrative. But yes, there was definitely a worldwide advanced civilization. And my belief is that we're talking 500 or 600 years ago, probably, is when it was still operating, right? Before the parasitic invasion. And, you know, he said maybe this has happened more than once. Well, of course it's happened more than once, right? I think that there's been a lot of resets, whether they're all natural, I don't know. Some are definitely orchestrated and created, but you just need to look around, right? We've got the pyramids and the massive statues, right? You know, in places like Egypt and Mesopotamia, you know, which is where the war is at the moment. Then we have the megalithic blocks, you know, like in the Ural Mountains in Peru, all these types of things. Then we have the star forts, right, all across the realm again. Then we have the red brick, which I guess is what we call Tartaria, the red brick buildings, the cathedrals. And then we have what we have today, right? Fake crap. So clearly, you know, we've been on a downward spiral as far as our technology and the way that we live. And as far as we can work out, at least in the last reset or before the last reset, the recent advanced civilization was built as a civilization that was for people. They knew about energy. They knew about the workings of the world and, you know, how to read the sky and all this kind of stuff. And this is why things are placed on strategic points, because of the energy points, the ley lines where they intersect. That's where the natural earth energies come from. And these buildings were built to amplify that energy, right, for our good, the good of the men and women of the world. And of course, it was abundance and sharing for all. I mean, just look at the things that they created. Look at anything, you know, the buildings, of course, but the furniture, the clothes, right, the little gadgets and things they had. And they were definitely much more advanced, in my mind, than we are today, because they knew more, they understood more about where they were and who they were. And today, you know, our technology is different. It's electronic, right? The L technology by the Lites, right? But before we had Earth, we were using the natural Earth energies to enhance everything. But that's my perspective. Let me know yours. What do you think's going on here? How many resets? How many previous civilizations? Or do you think that we are at the epitome of all of human creation right now? Let me know your thoughts.
What the FBI just found in Las Vegas is pretty concerning. Authorities have uncovered a possible illegal biological lab in someone's home. And this doesn't appear to be some weekend hobby. Not only did they find over 1,000 samples of unknown substances which had to be sent away for testing, but the owner of the home, a Chinese national, was arrested in 2023 for running another biological lab all the way over in California. And that lab, which allegedly received funding from Chinese banks, had samples with very concerning labels on them, including HIV, malaria, TB, COVID-19, and even Ebola. Now, the samples found at this Las Vegas lab on Saturday were, quote, consistent in appearance with the items found and described in the California lab investigation. So this now raises a serious concern. What are these samples being used for? And if 2 labs have now been discovered, could there be even more?
What is it being used for? Fear, it sounds like they're building a narrative, right? We all know what happened in 2020 with the whole scamdemic. And they've been pushing that, right, ever since. They've been trying to get it up and running again, or at least keeping it in our psyche, right? But yeah, to me, this is just more, evidence that they want to put out that there is a new fatal, virus that magically flies through the air and infects people. If you believe in COVID, have a look into germ theory. It's completely unproven. There's no proof that these, biological things come out of our mouths, float through the air and get into someone else and make them sick. I think it's much more mental, and I believe that the cure is the cause, right? I never got the jab, and I've never got COVID. I've never got it. I mean, I don't get sick in general because I don't touch the pharmaceuticals, the pharmacia, right? Because I understand that the cure is the cause. So, yeah, to me, this is just building a narrative so that they can convince people that, their breath is deadly and it's a good idea to lock yourself down when the government says you should, because, as we all know, they just want the best for us. But let me know your thoughts. Well, I've got you here, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me. Hope you're enjoying this little romp through the strange realm. If you are enjoying it, please give me a like, share it around, hype it up, all that good stuff. And definitely leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about all these videos and what's going on in the world at the moment. And of course, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button.
Breaking news, Iranian air defenses have been activated across the country, and drone launching platforms are visible for the first time since the 12-day war. Now, this comes as the Turks are warning the world that Israel and the United States are preparing a strike on Iran, maybe tonight. Follow for the newest update.
Drones, we've heard a lot about drones, right? I guess, what was it, 24, sort of late 24, with all the sightings across, especially the US, and all the drones, that really got it into our subconscious, didn't it? Really put the concept out there, and what do you know? Now there's drones everywhere, and we're having, apparently, a war, and it's going to be fought by drones. So again, do we know if any of this is real? Like that footage of the drones, it could have been all AI, we just don't know. But this is clearly what they want us to believe, which is interesting, because there's a lot of talk about subscription for the army in the US. And, why do you need lots of people if they've got all drones and machines to do the fighting for us? Now, there's definitely a narrative they're building here that they want us to believe. Is any of it true? I really don't know. But please let me know your thoughts. What do you think's going on with this war? What are they after? And how much of it is real?
There's no Atlantic Ocean on this map. This map shows it as the North Sea and then as the Ethiopian Ocean. I rarely find any map that doesn't show the Atlantic Ocean. Comment, let me know what you think of that. This is a 1609 map that we have here, and it's real interesting. I find all maps and I dive in, and a couple things is we have no type of Great Lakes in this at all. We do have Chalaga, which is known to be Chicago, and you have all the old world names through the Americas here in the North American area, down into the Mexican area as well, and then you have America shown as India, and then look at all of Antarctica all the way through here too. Just thought it was really cool to see how this map shows. I'll even go and show you out like this so you can see everything. And then look how Africa's all decked out. Cities all throughout Africa. Same thing if you go up into the Europe area and even up into the Arctic areas there. Really interesting map. See it all decked out. We got Mongols showing right here, but I couldn't find any like Great Wall through here. So comment, let me know what you think of this map or anything that stood out to you if you were kind of checking this out. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening and being a part of this. And if you'd like a link to this map, hit me up in the comments and I will send it over to you. Thanks again, and until next time, stay curious.
Ah, yes, love my old maps. That was Typus Orbis Terrarum. Interesting word, right? Terrarum, terrarium. They're trying to tell us what this world actually is. An enclosed system, which is what we're told. How do you have an enclosed system next to a vacuum with no barrier? As far as everything we know and all the physics that we know, and we've been told you can't. That's an impossibility, right? So the whole space story is crazy, of course. But, you know, these maps of the old world, they just show us that the Earth has been through a lot of changes. The lands have changed, you know, the lakes, rivers, everything has changed. Was that one event just the Great Flood? I would say no. I'd say there's been multiple events when the Earth's surface has changed. And of course, down the bottom, he said, this is Antarctica. I don't believe that that's Antarctica. I believe that's all the lands that are around us that we see in the Montes Planisphere, right, from 1597. Shows us all these extra lands out there. There's a lot of conversation about, are there extra lands out there? And I think they are, because you see them on these old maps. They've just joined them all together, in my opinion, right? Because they probably weren't properly explored. And most of these maps come from older maps, you know, from civilizations that were more advanced, that knew about all these lands. And I think a lot of those lands were dramatically changed, right, through Earth changes. And they're not as we see them on the old maps. We can... well, you know, we have to go off the modern maps and, you know, what they're telling us, but it seems there's been a lot of changes and they don't want us to know this. They want us to think that, you know, evolution is real and we've just had this progression along a straight line rather than cycles, which I believe is what's going on down here. And no Atlantic Ocean, maybe that's because the story of Atlantis hadn't come out yet. Maybe that's not even true. We just don't know. Right? This is all stuff that we have to believe, right? It's religious, right? We have to believe it and have faith in their stories. But again, the one thing we know about all these people who are running the show, who are running the education system, who created all the libraries, they lie, right? That's why it's a library. That's what we know about them. They lie and deceive, and everything they do is twisted, so it ultimately makes us entrap ourselves. But let me know, what do you think? What do you think's going on with the world here? Do you think these old maps are real? Do you think the old books and stories are real? Or is it all just made up to confuse us?
It took me 42 years to understand what I'm about to explain to you in under a minute. And once you understand this, you'll stop being so confused about why people do what they do. There's no one single right reality where you are right and everyone else is wrong. We assume that the way we see things is the way things are, right? Our values feel obvious. Our priorities feel logical. Our conclusions feel correct. So when someone disagrees with us, it feels wrong. And this is where the frustration starts. But here's what most people never consider. Other people are not just choosing different actions. They are seeing a completely different reality, because everybody is experiencing life through their own lens. And it's shaped by their upbringing, by their experiences, by what they've been rewarded for, what they've been hurt by, which means something subtle is happening. Two people can look at the same situation and see two completely different things. One person walks into a messy room and feels stressed. Another person walks into the same room and doesn't even notice it. But they do notice how people are feeling. One values order, the other values connection. Neither is wrong, but they both feel like the other is. Anais Nin said it simply. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Our view of the world happens through patterns the brain has learned over time. And once your brain builds a certain view of the world, it starts reinforcing it, looking for evidence that confirms it, and ignoring what doesn't. So this leads to a very different way of thinking. What if the reason people frustrate you isn't because they're wrong, but because they're seeing something that you're not? One of the strangest truths about life is this. We are not all reacting to the same world. We're each reacting to the version of the world our mind has learned to see. And the moment that you realize that is the moment you stop trying to correct people who are wrong and you start understanding them.
Yes, I concur. There's a statement, a saying, apparently by William Shakespeare, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And I've talked about this concept, this topic many, many, many times. And it's true, right? One person can walk down a street and see, a clean street and happy people and children playing and conversations. And someone can be walking next to them, same street, same day, and they see the rubbish. They see people fighting. They see bad things while the other person sees good things. It's the same street. And what's happening is, like she said, we see the world through the lens of all of our experiences. So we attach meaning to things, good or bad, right or wrong, right? And this is how it is, because we are all in our own little world. And trying to bring others into your worldview and change them to fit your narrative will just make you confused and frustrated and angry. And we hear it so often, in the truth community. Why can't they see this? Why are people like this? Oh, they're all bloody NPCs. They're just other men and women having a different experience of life than you. And that is awesome, because we can learn, we can have conversations. If everyone saw the world like you would be bored out of your mind. What would you talk about? What would you do? Would you just sit around going, yeah, look how right we are? Like, that's not fun. So it's true that we give the world meaning. We give our world meaning, just as others give their world meaning. And it's all meaningful, right? It's all full of meaning, right? But I guess what that means in reality is the world is meaningless, right? There is no meaning apart from the meaning we attach to it. So, yes, let me know your thoughts about that, please. I would love to hear.
Karmic retribution is not a real thing. This is a completely controlled and tolerated theory. The reason why it's so easy for so many people to believe in this is because it fits their current belief, goes along perfectly with what they already think. And this is completely by design. It's intentionally furthering your belief in religion. And to understand even where I'm going with this and what I talk about in a lot of videos, you have to already be aware of what the agenda is for the one world religion. I can't keep re-explaining things that I've already talked about just to get the point across to new people. And nobody has the fucking attention span to sit through a 1-minute video, never mind a 10-minute video. Turning as many people towards Christianity is the goal right now. So they constantly put demonic symbolism in plain sight for us to see. They make you aware of the ritualistic sacrifices and the babies and just the straight satanic cult shit. This is to further your belief in God, because, if they're worshiping Satan, then God must exist. Proof. And everyone's conclusion for why they're making us aware of all of this demonic shit and why they put things hidden in plain sight is karmic retribution. But this is nothing more than a manufactured theory just to pursue the agenda. They know they need to provide an answer for why they're making us aware of this stuff, and they give us an answer that's believable to Christians. And potentially people that are non-Christians will also get manipulated by this and start believing. Karmic retribution, things hidden in plain sight, this is all a part of the psyop. Like, you understand how easily you're manipulated, right? Like, someone in a video tells you, it's because of karmic retribution, it must be, and you just go, of course it is. Makes perfect sense. It's a controlled, tolerated conspiracy. That's why you're even allowed to talk about it on here.
Yeah, I mean, I've questioned this thing many times on both of my channels, right? This whole, they let us know so that they don't get karma. Well, it's a good theory, but we have no idea if that's true or not, right? And like you said, it's a theory that's allowed to be put out there, as is everything, as are the Epstein files, as are all the conspiracy theories, all the demonic stuff. Like, we know that they control the media, so we know that they are letting that out. And if they are letting it out and pushing it to us, us conspiracy theorists, there's a reason. There's an agenda behind it. They want us to believe certain things. And I'm in Melbourne at the moment, staying with a friend, and she, because I never talk to, other people, right, outside of sort of my little group. So I don't know what the mainstream people are seeing in their echo chamber, because we're all in echo chambers. Like we all are. I would say especially us who are researching and trying to find answers. But yeah, my friend who I'm staying with, she has neighbours and people she talks to who are complete, TV watchers, and they believe the news and all this. And she was talking to them and asking them about things like Netanyahu, is it on the news that he might be dead? And they said, no, nothing. And all these, she's asked different questions. Have you heard about this and this? And they don't know. Right? They are in a different echo chamber. They are not getting the same information as we are. And so we have this concept of everyone's waking up. Like, people are becoming more aware. And I think we need to ask the question, is that true? Or is it just another agenda, right? Because in the end, if they're controlling the media, the entertainment industry, the education system, all these things, then they are controlling the information we have access to and what's been given to us, right? We know this. We know about the echo chambers, right? And the bots and all this stuff. So what's really going on here? Are people really becoming more aware, or are we just being given that illusion, right? Given that view of the world that that's what's happening? I think that's an interesting question to ask. And, depending on the answer, the biggest question is, what do we do? How do we go forward, right? With our own agendas, with our own thoughts, being autodidactic, right? Self-educated, because if we're system educated, which is information from the education system, the books, the social media, online entertainment, all this stuff, then we're being told something, right? And this is a big part of what I talk about with autodidactic, right? If you only have one point of view, you're being told something. So to make an actual decision, we need as many points of view as we can get, and this is precisely the reason, because we are being fed information. And so all this satanic stuff, is it there for a reason? To make us to believe if there's a devil, there must be a God, a religious God. Let me know your thoughts. But there you go, guys. Another one done and dusted. Hope you enjoyed that. Please do give me a like, subscribe, leave me your comments, and of course, stay awesome, because you are. And I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.
Maggie, it's bath time. Maggie, stop ignoring Mom.
There it is, buddy. Get the treat. It's right there. You mad? Come here. Come.
He turned his head.
Come.
Riley, come here.
Oh, my lips just get stuck in my teeth.
Ginger! Ginger! Look at me!
Look at that butt. Look at that butt. Did you just roll your eyes at me? Look at it.
Hello? Hello?
Do you like celery?
Let's do it.
Relax and enjoy my evening, when all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice.
Look at him, y'all watching Zootopia. Soft ass dog. My fault, Brian. He didn't call you that.
Go away. Go! You're too close.